His brother shared it with me. And I was really taken aback. For one main reason is my daughter has decided to go on that same path. And that's to be in the United States military. And I say this. Any person who can do anything for 30 years consistently is a super person. But when you can do it consistently and well, you're an outstanding person. And when you can reach the rank of Chief Master Sergeant in the United States Air Force, that's really big. And it just goes to show one more time how someone who grew up in East Cleveland, went to Shaw High School, we get this ugly reputation. I really don't know why, because when you really look at it, we outshine everybody, but it is what it is. This gentleman is going to be retiring very shortly. And I think you all know what type of world we live in. This gentleman puts himself in harm's way to protect your right for freedom. And I think that's very special. And again, it's heartwarming to me because my child, and a lot of you know her, is doing the same thing in the Navy. But without further ado, well, first let me pay respects to all our visitors here. We have Mom, auntie, family. Everybody, let's give them a hand. Let's give them a hand. That's why I love you. Hey, today, whatever they serve is on me. I pay for all of them. Okay? Y'all get it free? Okay, but I'll pay for it next time. Without further ado, and I want a loud standing ovation for Chief Master Sergeant Stephen Small. Let's go. Stand up, give a hand, everybody. Let's show some love, show. I'm getting emotional.
Emotional too. Shaw High, how you doing? Uh-oh, I think they're still asleep, Rodney.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, y'all know what y'all say after I say we are, right? Everybody know what to say, right?
Yeah.
Let's show them we woke. We are!
Oh, that felt good. Real good. Hey, let me give praise and honor to God first and foremost. I guarantee you there's no way I could have lasted 30 years in the Air Force, military in general, after 30 years. I want to thank my family for being here. You want to talk about why I'm successful, if you want to call me successful, it's because I have a family like this that stands behind me. Give them a round of applause, please. Now, I listened to these guys and I was looking, while I was sitting there, and I was thinking to myself, this is a pretty good pickup game right here. Pickup team. I mean, we had a guard, we had a power forward right here, another power forward. I guess I'm the center because I'm the tallest, I guess. Maybe we can play against the Cavs, I don't know. We might have a chance. But listen, I'm really glad to be back here. I came in yesterday and me and my brother came up to Shaw and the band was out there playing. And oh man, you want to talk about some memories. Any guys in the band in here? Listen, when we were at Shaw, that band, and we played on the football team, that band used to do it for us. When we played, we were losing sometimes. Rodney was on the team. And listen, if you think this guy's crazy now, imagine how he was 30 years ago. He was crazy. But I love him to death. Thanks a whole lot, Rodney. Is the principal here? It's not? Okay. All right. So listen, I was a little bit nervous when I was thinking about talking to you guys. I really was. I was excited, wanted to be here, of course, a little nervous. So I went and talked to my son. He graduates in the class of 2011 as well. Actually, my brother and his son graduates in the class of 2011. So, again, I like to talk to him. He likes to help me out every once in a while. He's taught me how to play Call of Duty, taught me how to play Nintendo Live, those kinds of things. A little while ago, he taught me how to do Stanky Leg, something like that. He did. How's it go, Stanky Leg? And guess what? Then he told me, he said, listen, Dad, I'm going to teach you how to do the W. I tried doing it. He said, hey, listen, man, you don't have enough swag for that. That's what he said. He said, I didn't have enough swag. So I went to him and I said, hey, Sidney, I'm going to talk to my class. I'm alumni at Shaw. I'm going to talk to the class of 2011. Help me out. I go to him every once in a while. Your parents come to you every once in a while for a little help now? No. I go to mine all the time. He loves that. Help me out, Sidney. His name's Sidney. You know, 30 years ago I was there, but I'm kind of, you know, it's a generation gap. Help me out. Tell me what's important. Tell me some of the things I can talk to these guys about. I'm going at him. I'm just asking him questions. He said, Dad, relax. That was my son. He said, relax, Dad. The class of 2011, not only are we good looking, but we're going to be the best class ever. Well, he said the class of 2011, not only are you all good looking, but you'll be the best class ever. I'm just curious, right? He said, listen, you've had a distinguished career in the Air Force. You're Chief Master Sergeant. Only the top 1% in the Air Force is promoted to Chief Master Sergeant. He said, tell them a little bit about your career, some of your successes, some of the things that you think are important. And then under his breath, he said, just don't talk about cleaning rooms, Dad, and please don't tell any jokes. That's what he told me. You know, years ago, he used to ask me, you know, Dad, why? Why do I have to clean my room? Why? I'm in the military. I've been in the military for a few years. I like to talk about the numbers. I said there's 3 reasons. First reason is because when I look in this room, it's an impression of you, son. It's a reflection of you. I walk in here, the room's all messy, it's dirty. It kind of gives me the feeling that your life's not going right. I walk in here and everything's clean and everything's together. I have a good feeling that your life's going together. That's number 2. Reason number 2. And I've been in the military for a few years now. I like to give out tours and tasks. Your task is to get this messy room cleaned up. Good outcome, right? Third reason, just in case those first 2 didn't resonate, it's because I said so. Because Mom and Dad, you guys are laughing now, right? I know the parents get that. Because I said so. I'm happy to report after 18 years, he's getting his room clean.
All right.
All right? Now he said, don't tell any jokes. All right. I like to tell jokes. Maybe just a little one. Can I tell you guys just a little one? I'm in the Air Force, right? You guys do realize I'm in the Air Force, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, most folks will walk up to me and they'll look at me and they, you know, you Sergeant Major in the Navy because it's blue, right? That kind of thing. Or most times they'll look at the stripes. I think they walk up there because they're trying to count how many. There's 5 down and there's 3 up. Right?
All right.
But anyway, the Air Force is all about air power. You guys didn't know that. I mean, we have all types of aircraft. Wonderful jets. That's one of the reasons why I came in. I love aircraft. Have different types of jets. C-130s are the big cargo planes. You guys have seen those before? Maybe. How about the F-16s? Seen those Thunderbird shows? The ones doing all the maneuvers? You guys have seen those? Well, one day, this big cargo plane, C-130, it's cruising at about 20,000 feet. F-16 pulls up. He has to slow down. He pulls up alongside this C-130, gets on the radio and says, hey, you want to see something impressive? C-130 pilot says, sure. At that time, that F-16 took off. All up in the air, did all these fancy things, did some barrel rolls, busted the sound barrier. Then the F-16 pilot, after about 4 minutes of that, he came back, pulled back alongside the C-130 pilot and said, hey, what do you think about that? Pretty impressive, huh? The C-130 pilot looked over at him and said, nah, it was all right. But if you want to see something really impressive, watch this. F-16 pilots looked. And he's looking. After about 5 minutes, the C-130 pilot came back on and said, hey, what do you think about that? The F-16 pilot said, think about what? What'd you do? C-130 pilot came back and said, hey, in that 5 minutes, I went back to the back, used the bathroom, had a bite to eat, and now I'm sitting in the cockpit reading my newspaper, drinking some coffee. My son told me not to tell jokes. That's why I listen to my son. I do. Hey, Now, you can look at my chest and you can tell that there's quite a few awards on here, some things that I've been very fortunate to have achieved or what have you. But there's a few special folks in the audience inside the class of 2011 I'd like to recognize if I could. If you are coming into the Air Force, now I'm in the Air Force and I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of all the services. If you're coming into the Air Force, could you raise your hand? I know this is coming. You're actually coming in? Come on up, I have something for you. Chief has something for you. Please, come on up. If you are joining the Army, Navy, come on up. Army, Navy, or Marines, please stand. Just stand. Always think that it's great when young folks decide to serve our country. Round of applause for those folks. Okay. I got my folks coming to the Air Force. No. You've actually signed up. You have a class date, and you're actually coming in. All right. I got something for you. Now, like I said, we have awards and things that we have, and we receive. But one of the more special things in the Air Force that you get is a coin. This coin right here, it has my Chief Master Sergeant stripes on it, but it's not the important thing as far as this coin goes. What you see on the back of this coin is integrity, service, and excellence. Those are the Air Force's core values, but I guarantee you that we learn those things right here in this school. We learn those things in our household. Amen? Okay. Now, you can only get this from someone who's distinguished, not that I am. And I'm only giving you this not for what you've done. I'm giving this right here to you for what you're going to do. All right? When you going in, April? July? January, all right. I'll be in Austin, Texas, about an hour away from there. I expect to get a graduation invite, okay? Iowa, okay. Hey, round of applause for these two. Congratulations. All right. Shabir, for real? No.
They don't know her being.
They don't. I have a point for you too, young lady.
When she going in. Man, don't know y'all being.
Congratulations to you too. Thank you. Okay. I have, oh, we got one more. I do. Absolutely. I keep these coins on me. You know, in the Air Force, if you get caught without a coin, you got to get out and do about 30 push-ups. I'm a chief. I'm not doing any push-ups for anybody. Hey, what's your name, man? Kerry, when you going in? This man is preparing himself to go in, and I really appreciate you making that decision. Thank you. All right. Good luck. I expect to come to your graduation. All right. I have one more coin I need to give out, and this guy right here, really, you know, I've met a couple of alumni here in the school since I came back, but this guy right here, you know, 2 years ago I was in Korea. And I'm surfing the net after work, and I'm looking on, I'm always checking out things about Shaw, all the time. Things about Cleveland. I'll check the weather in Cleveland. Nice to see that it's kind of the same as it was when I left. But I'm checking out Shaw High School, and I see online this guy right here, Ryan Brower. Come on up, Ryan. Hey man, I mean, I can sit here and listen and see the love that you have for these children, these young men and women, and I appreciate it. Appreciate you being my friend for 30 years. I want to say well done to you as well. Thank you so much, man, for being here. All right. Okay. Hey, I've been doing this long enough to know that I'm standing in between you guys and lunch, so I'm going to try to be quick, okay? Thank you. All right. Hey, back in, I'll wait. All right, thank you. Back in 1981, I mean, much like you guys, I graduated from Shaw High School. I was very fortunate. My recruiter, because I'd already made the decision to come into the Air Force. My recruiter was my cousin, Carl Small, Reverend Carl Small. Wanted to thank him. First, I wanted to be a pilot. I told you I loved aircraft. Wanted to be a pilot. Found out that my eyes weren't good enough, so he gave me some options, and you guys need to remember that. You always need options in your life. He told me that, hey, since I can't fly them, maybe I'd be interested in fixing them. I said, sure. So in 1981, in the summertime, I came in, I went to basic training. That's where they teach you to be about being in the Air Force. And then I went to tech school. That's where they taught me how to be an aircraft mechanic. About 3 months after that, I went to Scott Air Force Base, Illinois. It's about 20 minutes east of St. Louis. Learned my first lesson about being successful. Learned my first lesson about the Air Force that very first day I got there. Very first day. Now, they bring the aircraft into a hangar. I showed up there at 6:30. At the front of the hangar is chaos. There's an ambulance, there's fire trucks, there's policemen. Chaos in the front. So I went around to the back. Walked in, and there was more chaos inside than there was outside. Had been an accident, an explosion. I roped everything off. There was blood everywhere. I walked in and said, goodness gracious, what have I walked myself into? Turns out a couple of hours before that, there was an accident. Some individuals, and I need you to realize this right here. Some individuals had not followed proper procedure. They didn't follow checklists, and they didn't use tools the right way. They didn't use tools the right way. Now the good thing is that none of them lost their lives. They didn't. Bad thing is the guy lost his eye, and another guy lost his leg and part of his priors. The lesson I got from that, follow checklists and use the right tools. That stuck with me throughout my entire Air Force career. Now a few other things happened at Scott Air Force Base. For the first time in my life, somebody not my color called me the N-word. Called me the N-word. Now I'm from East Cleveland, Ohio. What do you think my first instinct was? It was, I'm glad I paid attention to my second instinct. My second instinct told me to go tell this supervisor what happened and see how he handled the situation. So I did. I went and talked to him. This guy had just met me 2 weeks prior. I went and told him what happened. He stopped what he was doing. He grabbed that guy. We went to the commander's office. And I'm here to tell you, 2 hours later, that guy had lost 2 stripes. 4 months after that, they kicked him out of the Air Force. Not because of what he called me, but he had some other things going on. But the thing that I remembered about that is that this supervisor stood up for me, stood up for his principles. And I'm glad I paid attention to my second instinct. Okay? Now, I continued as an aircraft mechanic, and after a while, I decided that I wanted to do something different. Again, remember, it's always good to have options. I started out as an aircraft mechanic, but I wanted to do something different. I got tired of working outside. In the Air Force, at certain times in your career, you can change jobs. I decided I wanted to do something and use my mind now. I picked this long topic. It was called Cryptographic Communication System Specialist. Longest thing I could pick. Really, all that was about was there's pieces of equipment that encrypt and decrypt classified information. And I wanted to get involved in that. I went from working outside to inside. Very demanding. It required a top secret security clearance. There's a lot of things I can't tell you. I wish I could. I wish I could tell you, but I can't because they're classified. But for the most part, over the last 24, 25 years, that's what I've been doing. Now I can tell you about the 8 or 9 different assignments that I had. I can tell you about that. I can tell you about 20 or so countries that I visited. tell you some of the experiences I learned from that. Those things help me be successful. It's great when you go somewhere else. You guys think you have it bad here. There's places where you guys are rich. You really are. I can tell you about France. I can tell you about 1996. I was deployed. I went to the desert. I showed up in the building, and I left that next day. And then I found out later on that same building had just been blown up. That was the first terrorist attack, and those were the same folks who bombed the World Trade Center. I can tell you about those types of things. I can tell you about what it took to get all these stripes. Wasn't easy. I did not start as a Chief Master Sergeant. I started with nothing on my arm. I left here at Shaw, and there were folks telling me, just like they're telling you, what you could not do and what you weren't. I can tell you about those types of things. Just this past fall, I can tell you about Afghanistan. I mean, and then guys are looking at me and they're asking me, hey, why are you going? And I can tell you how I felt when I had to tell my family that I was going. Because I didn't want them to be worried. But I was going for a couple of reasons. First of all, I enjoy what I do. And you guys need to remember that. You will do anything that you want, and you will do it great if you enjoy doing it. Second thing, I was good at what I did. Okay? And I'm not saying that to brag. I really am not. I mean, I didn't go there thinking of being a hero or anything like that. I went there to do my job. And I was responsible for some folks, so guess what? We all were coming home, and I'm blessed, and I'm glad that folks were praying for me. That's why I'm here. Okay? I can tell you about those things, but let's circle back. Well, let's tell you about a little bit about Afghanistan, because I got there on the plane. 7 of us were on the plane, and I'm on one of these large cargo planes. Large cargo planes, there's a pallet of material in the front, and I'm looking at the plane. It's kind of empty. I'm looking at the pallet. I walked over, looked at what was on the pallet. It was blood. It was plasma that was delivering blood. I'm not trying to tell you this to scare you. I really am not. We got to Afghanistan, and the back of the plane lets down, and there's 800 Army, Navy, and Airmen out there waiting on this plane. They're out there in formation waiting on this plane. Now, I like to say they were waiting on us, but they weren't. They were standing there. Because of who had to get on. Turns out 2 days before I got there was an attack on the Freedom base, and we lost 7 soldiers. And I was proud because these airmen, these soldiers were there to give these individuals a proper send-off. I could tell you about those kinds of things. I can tell you how I felt in my heart, you know, and I appreciate you guys' support. But it's different when you're wearing a uniform, when you lose someone. I can tell you all those things made me sure that I was going to be successful in what I did. And that's just my story. You guys have heard a bunch of stories about some successful guys from Shaw High School, just like you. Now let me go back to when I was an aircraft mechanic, because I made a decision that I was going to be the best aircraft mechanic I could. Like I said, I learned a few things. But guess what? I couldn't be an aircraft mechanic unless I learned how to do a few things. Had to learn how to use the tools. When I first got here, I didn't know anything about tools. But guess what? I had to learn. The better I got with the tools, the better I got at the job. Got my own key. So this is my tool. We'll say it's a tool bag. Throughout my life, I've been putting things inside my tool bag. I put the experiences there in my tool bag. Got to pull it out when I need it. Sometimes I didn't have the right tools. Sometimes I had too many tools in there. Had to throw it out. You all are going to leave Shaw High School with a tool bag. You have your high school education. You have your own inspiration and your motivation. You have your family support. You're going to put that stuff inside your tool bag. You're going to need it. That's what I did. Anytime I learned something, went in my tool bag. When I left aircraft maintenance and went to this next duty assignment, I had a lot of stuff in my tool bag. Sometimes I reached in there and there wasn't anything in there. Guess what? I couldn't do the job. Really couldn't. Had to go back, learn some things. I put that stuff in my tool bag, and guess what? When it was time for a good job, I had the right tools to make things happen. That's what you guys have to do. And don't let anybody tell you you can't stuff this tool bag. It doesn't matter. I didn't start out as a chief master sergeant. I didn't. I started out as an airman basic. I started putting things inside this tool bag. And guess what? When folks looked at me, they could look at my tools and what I was doing, and they gave me opportunities based on what I was doing at that moment. At that moment. So I'm going to leave you all with that. I had a joke, but I'm not going to give it to you. All right? Listen, I want to thank you all so much. And those of you, and let me tell you one thing real quick. I know some of you are not going to walk across the stage. I know that. That's okay. Guess who else didn't walk across the stage? I didn't. You know, I was getting A's and B's, and I thought that English, and you know what that teacher did? Yeah, she failed me. So I had to go to school. I had to, that summer school. I actually graduated on the 24th of July. But guess what? I said, hey, I didn't get it right as I wanted to when I was in high school. I'm going to get it right in the Air Force. When I went to that basic training, when I went to that class for aircraft mechanic, guess who was the honor graduate there? I was. It started up here. And you'll see it, if you see my resume or what have you, you'll see awards and things like that. It's because at certain points in life, you can get it right. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday. What matters is what's happening right now. I'm going to go ahead and end. I really appreciate being here. I want to thank my family again for being here. Class, hey, and I know, guess what? There's some class of 2012 here. Hey, give yourselves a round